Sales and customers. So what would this section give us detail about? Usually the income statement of revenue, right? So we have the revenue line item. So remember, the general idea on the revenue on the income statement is we want to have a summary of revenue, not breaking out the revenue. There's almost too many revenue accounts in this particular client, right? Although that might be more common in some businesses, like for here at construction business. But typically we want summaries of the revenue accounts on the profit and loss, not trying to break out the revenue accounts by, say, customer, because I don't want to have a bunch of revenue accounts by who gave us the money, by who we made sales to. Why? Because it would be a long income statement. That would be ugly, number one. And number two, because I should be able to make a subledger report by customer if I used the proper form and populated the customer's proper forms being invoices and sales receipts rather than deposit forms. That doesn't, right? I also don't want to have too many income accounts by item, things that we sell. I'm not going to have a separate income account by everything that we sell, service item or inventory item, because again, that would be too long, too tedious, number one. And number two, hopefully I can create a subledger breaking out the information by item. Now there are exceptions to that because again, if you're a gig worker and you're just constructing your financial statements based on who paid you, like Google paid me or this platform paid me, then I'm just going to make it with a deposit form, and I might make my income account just called Google AdSense revenue, which is basically the customer that paid us, right? But again, if you're doing a full service accounting system, then you don't generally want to do that. That's the idea. So then over here, we've got sales by customer type details. So we could break out the sales by the type of customer, estimate of progress invoicing summary by customer. Now, progress invoicing is something that is usually kind of in a specialty kind of area where you might have like longer term job systems where they're paying you, on partial invoices. So I won't get into that in detail. Customer contact list. Now, this would just be a list of our customers giving us the information like their telephone number and so on and so forth, which typically we can also find internally over here in the sales tab for customers. We can find any particular customer and go into their information to find their phone number and whatnot. But if we want to give a report on that, we can make a customer list. We've got income by customer summary. All right, so here's where we get into it. We've got the income account by customer. So let's look at that. So now I'm going to close this out. Let's make this for 2024. Let's say 01/01/24 12/31/24. Run it. So now we've got the income by customer, list of customers, the total income, and then it's got the expenses that are applied to a particular customer, which might be like cost of goods sold, but that's $10,280. And if I look at the income statement, we have in here $10,200. Notice it's a little bit different. Why? Because it's possible to record something to an income account without assigning a customer, which means your subledger is going to be off in that case, as would be the case if we had the gig work scenario recording things with deposit forms that don't have a customer field. But we have that detail. Sale by customer summary. What is it? This is income. Sale by customer summary. Similar report here. Let's just take a look at that. We're going to go from 01/01/24 12/31/24, let's say. Run it. So now this doesn't give us the expenses. It's just the sales side, which again is $10,280. So these two reports are a little bit different because this has the expense component. If you had some expenses that are applied to a particular customer, like for example, possibly cost of goods sold. Sale by customer detail, similar to here, but having detail. Deposit detail. Now you would think this might not be on the income side of things, but deposits you would think ultimately come from the sales cycle typically. So you would think it kind of fits in the sales area in that sense. Estimates by customer. Remember that estimates are only there in certain types of industries where they don't actually record anything, no adjustment to the financial statements for them, but we still track them because we might want to convert the estimate to an actual invoice if they're accepted. So inventory valuation detail. remembering that inventory might be something we wouldn't expect here. It's kind of a balance sheet item, but inventory is in the sales cycle when we sell inventory. So it's they kind of put it in here. And oftentimes when I find the inventory reports, I just type them in here. But you can kind of see this as giving you detail on the inventory, which would be the cost of goods sold on the income statement, and on the balance sheet side of things, which would be the inventory account here, because inventory goes up when we buy it and down when we sell it. So then we've got the product and service list. These are the things that we actually sell. Normally, you would find this going inside to the sales tab, products and services. But if we want a list that we can then give and provide to somebody, we can generate a report with it. Sales by product service summary. Let's open this one up. So this is the other major subledger report we would want on sales. I want to break out the sales by who we sold it to and what we sold. So 01/01/24, 12/31/24. This is breaking it out by what we sold, right? So this is all the things that we sold, and the service items that we sold comes out to 10,280, which should tie out to what's on the income statement. On income right here, 10,200, not exact. Why? Because it's possible to record something to an income account without adding an item, as would be the case in a gig work scenario where we have deposit forms that don't have items within them. All right, so then we have the sale by product details, similar payment method list. So we have the lists of payment methods. How are they, how are they going to pay us, which we would put on the form. Physical inventory worksheet. So you would think be backing up or supporting the balance sheet account of inventory, but inventory is part of the sales cycle. That's why it kind of fits in the sale and customer area here. And that can help you to count the inventory to tie it out to the physical amount that's in QuickBooks. Time activities by customer detail. So we have the time activities, transaction list by customer. So we can have a transaction list, the list of transactions, which are the activity broken out by customer. Transaction list by tags, remembering that tags is that special thing that we could add to give us another sorting tool, as we can see here in our reports.